Hello everybody and welcome back to our tutorial series on the FlyByWire A320neo. In today's video we are going to be going from pushback to takeoff and cruise. So buckle your seatbelts and get ready for this tutorial again. So let's head right back into the cockpit where we left off in last videos. Alright. So, if you are not using GSX Pro, you can come over to that ground and come to pushback and either pre-plan or do your pushback manually. But I am going to be doing our pushback with GSX today. So, I'm going to get the tug connected here. Alright, so if you have messages in the FMC, you can clear any of those out right now. And if you have to adjust any lighting on these screens, then all you have to do is mess with these brightness panels here, and if you need to change the autopilot panel brightness of anything, right there and right there, as well as down here for these displays, and same thing over there. Alright, so now that the pushback tug is on, we can turn that beacon light on right now and get the APU bleed on. Okay, now that the APU bleed is on, we should be close to ready for pushback. Alrighty, that pushback tug has started, so that means we can start our engines. So we're gonna come down here, put our starter to ignition, and start engine number 1. On that display right there, you should see right here this side going up, all these numbers going up, and highlighted right there. There we go, that engine is spinning back here.
Please take a moment out of the seat as close as sector and remember it may be behind you. If there is a change in cabin pressure, more oxygen mask will drop from overhead. Firmly pull the mask towards you to start the flow of oxygen. Place the mask over your nose and mouth, pull the elastic bands around your head, and tighten the strap from both sides. Even though the bags are not split, oxygen will be flowing. Be sure to put your mask on first before helping others, and let you know when it's no longer needed.
Please set parking brakes.
Alright, now that
confirmation for a good engine start.
Alright, now that has become unhighlighted and this engine is available, we're gonna come back down and we're going to start engine number 2. Same thing should happen. We're also going to prepare here. We're going to put our auto brake on max right there. Come up here, turn our strobes to auto, our nose light to taxi, and our runway turn off light on. Alrighty. Alrighty, now that we have a good engine start, we're gonna come down here and set that ignition back to normal. And we're gonna come up to the APU, turn off the APU bleed, turn off the APU.
Disconnected. Bypass pin removed.
Turn off that APU.
Left is clear, right is clear.
Okay. Next thing we're gonna do is we're going to come to our flight controls. We are going to make sure our flight controls are working. So, full right, full left, full up, full down, rudder to the right, neutral, rudder to the left, and our flight controls are good. So we're going to set our flaps to flaps 1 and arm our spoilers there. Okay. Right. We're gonna put our terrain on their display right there if it comes up. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to come down here and just make sure that everything right here is good. All of this is not in the cutoff position, not in off, and this is normal. And we can begin our taxi here. So slowly push forward on that throttle, release your parking brake, and there you go, we're starting to move. And one more thing, I'm going to put that throttle back to idle, as it could get a little fast if you keep it moving up. We're going to click on that takeoff config button, and it should say takeoff config normal. You could do this at any point during the taxi just before takeoff. So now we're just going to taxi over to runway 27 right. And I'll see you guys once we get close to the runway. Alrighty, we are now on the runway, so what I'm going to do is come up here, turn those runway landing lights on, and the nose light to take off, as well as the strobe light on. And then I'm going to come down to back to that ATC panel and set this from standby to TA. Also
Flight
gonna
attendants,
set
please prepare
our
for takeoff.
I'm also gonna set our weather panel to system 1 and PWS to auto. Then all you have to do is make sure that there's no blue here and no orange. So the cabin needs to be checked. Come up here, click on that cabin call on all. Hear that ding. Should go away, and we are ready for takeoff. So I'm gonna start the clock right there and the chrono right there. Release parking brake, go to about 50%. Once you start moving, I'm going to go to flex. Put some forward pressure right there on the side stick. Try and stay as center line as I possibly can. Once at 100, I'm going to release the forward pressure. V1, rotate, pull back on that side stick lightly, and lift off. There we go, and we are in the air. And once we are at about 500 feet of altitude, we are going to switch on that autopilot. So positive rate and gear is coming up. 500 feet. Autopilot 1 is on. pull that throttle back to climb, and auto throttle should come on. And now we're looking good. I'm going to set our flaps back to 0 and retract our spoilers. Alrighty, since we have departed, we're just gonna go that altitude up to our cruising altitude, which is 23,000. Right click on that, and we should start to gain altitude again shortly, depending on what our waypoints altitudes are. So yeah. And once you get to that transition altitude, you can set your QNH to standard pressure, which I'll do here once we pass 6,000 feet. Alrighty, close enough. And I'm gonna put it on standard pressure. And don't forget about that small screen down here too. And if it is not changing to standard pressure, sometimes if you are on keyboard and mouse, if you have a keyboard and mouse and playing on PC, you do have to hit it, hold it down, and then click on the scroll wheel. Alright, and now we are cruising our way out. So I'll see you guys back in a few seconds here when we are at 10,000 feet. Alrighty, welcome back. We have just passed 10,000 feet, which means that we can now turn off all of these lights right here that are for takeoff and landing. So, I'll have to retract them. You just gotta turn the landing lights off, and the nose light off, as well as the runway turn off light. I also will take the seatbelt sign off now, and we will be cruising up to our cruising altitude, which we should be at our cruising altitude around where this arrow is right here. So I'll see you then. Alrighty, we have reached our cruising altitude, and as you can see, we are not that far away from our initial descent either. So, what that means for us in today's video is that this part of the tutorial has came to an end. So, if you enjoyed this part, just make sure to like this video and consider subscribing if you enjoy what I do. And come back tomorrow for the next part of this tutorial, which is the descent, landing, and parking. So the last part, I promise. So, again, if you enjoyed, please consider coming back tomorrow for the next part of the tutorial, and I'll see you then. Bye-bye.